Day 645 off the grid. Yeah, I'm at Mavtech, but I've just been into Levin and picked up Vikey's birthday present. In fact, I can actually say what it is. It's a brand new bicycle. I can say that because by the time I upload it, the day of his birthday is most likely to have passed. If not, it's just between you and me. But I also came into Mavtech as part of the trip because I needed to come here today and upload some adverts for the Foxton Spring Fling. Yes, we've been furnished with some professionally produced advertisements from MediaWorks, so we're basically running our first professional ads. Of course, we're doing it as a favour, pro bono, to the Spring Fling, but we've got some ads, which some people might go, oh, advertising, but you know, it's kind of cool because it's becoming more like a real radio station, if you like. But what I also did was I reinstated the emergency playout system. So here's this ancient old 1.5 gigabyte TAC, obviously modelled on the early iPod, but it's a little bit slimmer, just as thick though. From the same generation, really. It's a hard disk player, but that's fine. But the problem was we were getting some weird breakups in the audio and some volume losses. And I suspect it may have been due to this headphone output not liking to drive into things that weren't really headphones, or if it wasn't seeing a headphone-like sort of load, it didn't like it. So I took the isolating transformer home and made a few little adjustments here. And here it is. I put it in this little plastic case now to give it a bit of protection. This is what the laser player that runs the Castle Point sequence on my Lighthouse originally came in. And I was always looking for a use for this case, and I guess I've found it. So same transformer as before, but I've added these resistors. In fact, there's 4 resistors here. There's 2 56 ohm ones. Those are those old ones. They actually came from an old board of Baffy's uncle, Artie, an old little amplifier board on some Vero board, and I pinched them off there because I needed some resistors of about this value, 56 ohms, and they're wired across the outputs and function as a load. Little bit higher impedance than the 30 ohms of the headphones, but I didn't want to drag it down too far because then we've got a couple of 22 ohm resistors which go from the channels, sum them together and feed them into the transformer. So now I'm mixing both left and right together for mono, rather than just picking off one channel like I was before. So the advantages of this are there's a definite load and a predictable load for the player, plus also it avoids a situation where you're sort of shorting two outputs together. Like you can do that with line outputs because they're relatively high impedance, but when you start doing that with some headphone outputs, you can have problems. So those resistors avoid that. So it appears to be working quite well, although I am now suspecting there may be little issues with this booster amp which we're using here, which is an old 1970s quadraphonic adapter. It's got 2 extra power amplifiers in it, which I'm basically using as a driver amp to drive this transformer here, which then converts it to a 600 ohm line to feed into our system. So that's what I've been busy with while I was here. But it appears to be working pretty well at the moment, so I can't give you a demo because of YouTube copyright flags and all that, but you know, it just sounds like the radio station basically, but a bit more random. And then if anyone needs to, you know, if I'm not around and someone detects that the playout computer's had a hissy fit and gone off air, they just come in here, push that button, and the emergency playout is on because the MP3 player is continually in action down there. So I guess that's it really. Went to the railway station this morning, had a real exciting discussions with people, particularly Ross Campbell, because he's now deputy mayor. Michael Fagan appointed him, which is just awesome, and there's some very exciting stuff happening at the Horowhenua District Council. I mean, this election is like an example of true democracy in action. It really is. The people said we want to change, and they have stated that with their votes, and we've got the change. Apparently there's a bit of sort of nasty repercussions there going on in the background. Some of the old crew trying to sort of make life difficult, but you normally expect that kind of thing in these situations, don't you? But things are going to be very, very different in the Horowhenua. So, with that said, I'll say goodbye from this vlog and goodbye from Mavtech.